y'all, what's going on? It's BarbMeetsWorld, and I'm back again to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac's Season 10, Episode 5, Sunshine and Sexts. Before we get into all that though, y'all, please come on in here and like the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. And if you're not a current subscriber, I'm not exactly sure what you're doing, but go on ahead, hit the subscription button. I would love to have you become one of the Barb's babes, okay? And also, leave me your comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. We are at episode 5 now, so I think we can really start to form our opinions on things. And also, share me with all of your folks near and far. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And let me throw my banner up here before I forget so you guys can follow me on all of my social media channels, platforms, accounts, whatever you want to call it, okay? And where we at? We are right here. Hey, y'all, what is going on? Oh, my goodness. This episode was quite interesting. As you guys just saw, my graphic, I really am feeling strongly about a couple people. There's some other people that have pleasantly surprised me, and we have some others that are continuing to fall short. But without further ado, let's jump right into it, y'all. Okay, so this episode, we started off exactly where we finished off in episode 4, which is with Ashley attempting to spill the tea on Stacey in regards to her, supposedly trying to get with Chris Samuels, aka Monique Samuels' ex-husband. And I really love how Stacey played this, y'all, because Stacey was like, girl, we're good friends. We are both divorcees. And, that's that on that. Ashley, of course, she was really still trying to make a moment. But I really went up for Stacey when Ashley was saying, well, Chris tried to get with you, or Chris is telling people the same thing. So what's up? And Stacey replied like, well, I mean, if you were a guy, wouldn't you tell somebody I was trying to date me too? Like, and I was like, yes, Stacey, pop your ish. Don't let them see you sweat. Remain unbothered. I love to see it, y'all, because Stacey really, you can't lie. She really did bring just a newness to this show that I feel like we haven't had in quite a while. So I'm just glad that she is not letting the Ashleys and even the Gizelles really get her down, because we know what it looks like if that were to happen. And she might be looking like an angel or something like that. But anyway, I'm be good, y'all. So speaking of Angel, she was also saying how Chris is one of Bobby's mentors, and she doesn't really provide any more context to that. So I'm like, okay, well, at the same time, like I feel like trying to like vouch for him a little bit, Angel. And it's like in the same breath, you are admitting that you really don't know him like that for real. So my point is, y'all, you never quite 100% know what another person does when you're not around. You don't know what somebody does behind closed doors. So when you rush over to try to go up for them, you might wind up looking like a fool in the end when they prove you wrong. And I feel like we've seen that on this show quite a few times. So anyway, in the end, once again, Stacey's like, boom, I'm back with my husband. That's all that matters. End of discussion. And again, I really love how she handled this. She nipped it in the bud, but of course it's not going to be the last that we hear of it, especially with Monique coming on to the show. So we'll save that for a later date though. And we also heard Wendy calling out Ashley for hijacking this whole conversation when the ladies were trying to get some tea up out of Gizelle, who was notorious for not sharing and disclosing what really goes on in her love life or her personal life just in general. We never really see what goes on in Gizelle's life other than her being a mother to 3 young ladies. So I love that Wendy called her out in that breath. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not really understanding what your angle is here, Wendy, because on one hand, it's like you are still clocking Gizelle, but you're also admitting, you know, that she is a friend of yours. So I don't know. I think I've said it before that I don't want the ladies to ever get stuck in a place where we're still hearing about the same old beefs constantly and season after season. But Wendy, I don't know. Like, I don't know what her motive is. And that's why I can see things both ways, where I can see how some people would feel like, okay, it's giving, you've just wanted to get down with the Green Eye Bandits, because clearly, you know, based on how she I'm not going to say let that statement slip, because she said it with her whole chest last week. Like, basically, it's okay if Gizelle does whatever she wants to do, as long as it's not directed towards her. She don't really care. It's like, I could see why people are on one hand looking at you low-key like a sellout, and then on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, y'all say that you want the girls to get along. You say you don't want to keep rehashing the same old ish. So which one is it? Make a decision. Anyway, moving right along. When ladies get back to the resort, they are singing Wendy happy birthday because Gizelle has a cake waiting for her. And I instantly saw Kay's face and it looked less than enthused. And I was like, I'm not going to keep doing this. It's giving fun sucker, quite honestly. And I don't like to be around people like that. If the energy is high and you want to step on the scene and all you do is bring it down, then I'm not going to want to play you too close either. And that's why I understand why people are in the comments or on social media saying like, okay, let this be Kay's last season. Okay, give Kay's flute over to Jassi, because it is like a dark cloud right now. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. And it sucks because I think that Kay is, I've been very vocal about saying she's super beautiful. I think she has some obviously she has things going for herself, but it's not translating to us viewers. So I don't know. And shout out to the 6 people that are watching collectively. Make sure you come on over here and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Moving on. Speaking of Kay, she lets him know that she's going to retire early because she's tired. And I'm like, see, I do understand that this is a type of show that films for 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. I understand that. But I loved how later on in the episode, we have the Tias and the Jassis, and I want to say even Wendy pointing out like, okay, that we're all tired. We're all, you know, feeling that. So I feel like that was really kind of just like a cop out. And I feel like Kay does that a lot. She's often like, if all the ladies are sitting around, we can oftentimes see Kay sitting in the background, or she's over at the counter eating food, or she like pulls up a chair finally in the last 5 minutes of conversation. She really does play the background. So I'm like, you can't really be upset if people are not really seeing it for you, because if you're not bringing negative energy, you're fading into the background. It's one or the other. That's what I'm seeing at this point in time, at least. Y'all let me know in the comments. So they play truth or drink. Ashley asks Wendy if she's ever been attracted to women. I'm kind of confused because obviously we know that Ashley, she likes women, she likes men, she likes etc. etc. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, why are you sitting here and every single time y'all go out of the country, it's like she lays it on super thick, and it honestly makes me kind of think of she's taking a picture. Yeah, she's taken a page out of her ex-husband's book, because it's like, girl, every single time y'all are all together, we had last season her kissing Jacqueline. We've heard about them like, you know, showing each other their vaginas and stuff like that, which I'm cool with it all, y'all. Like, do what you want with whoever you want. That's not my issue. But it just seems like every single time they're all around and behind closed doors, it's like you you're always being like a little, I don't know, like something's always coming up and out of you in regards to being attracted or something like that. And I'm just like looking at her kind of sideways, like, have you been hanging around your ex-husband too long? Like, let me find out. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna just leave that right there because I don't even have time. But anyway, we also find out that when Wendy does answer the question, she says that she was attracted to a stripper down at Stadium nightclub in DC. That's neither here nor there to me. I felt no ways when I heard that entire conversation, because like I just said, it seems like this type of conversation always comes up when Ashley is out of town with these ladies. Y'all let me know what you think. Anyway, Ashley then asks Jassi if she thinks that there's been any infractions going on with Darius, or in other words, does she think that he's actually being faithful now, or is cheating still in the picture? And Jassi's like, right now, no, but there were infractions in the past, absolutely. And in I feel like, of course, Ashley's trying to make a moment out of this in her confessional, but it's like, looking back on it, I want to say on X, Jassi said that it was like 14 days or so before the wedding, I want to say, at this point in time, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever the fact of the matter is, she is leading up to her wedding. Clearly, she accepted this man's proposal. Clearly, whatever went on before her or during her time in the picture, she's cool with. So I do feel like that was a little extra messy when you really break it down, because it's like that could have really derailed whatever she had going on leading up to that could have really brought up some skeletons or some ill feelings, or that could have really turned out to be very messy, I feel like, for Jassi. And so I feel like that question could have been left off the table. I can see if that was before they got engaged, but it's like, since they are engaged now, I personally wouldn't bring something up like that. I think it was kind of tacky, but then again, who are we talking about? We're talking about Ashley Darby. So anyway, Angel's question was from Wendy, and Wendy asked Angel, okay, so in this exact moment, who would you unalive right now? And I wish she would have said like the, Mary Kill, of course, of it all, but she just said to unalive. And Angel immediately jumps off the porch and is like, Gizelle, without hesitation, because, she was nice to her, and instead Gizelle called her catfish, pretty much. And she stands up and she's like, because I'm that mother. And I'm like, again, you can pop off and say all this and, be so self-assured in this moment, but I'm gonna get there, y'all. But I was just confused and kind of like, that didn't really land with me when Angel did all that. I feel like she was just putting on, because that's not what she truly is representing in these scenes. But anyway, and Wendy makes mention of how, since Kay retreated back to hit her room, we have Angel that's kind of like coming alive, and she seems to really be enjoying herself around the ladies. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I witnessed that too. I recognize that too. And even in the end, because Gizelle, of course, we know she likes to go to bed early, so she kicks all the ladies out shortly following. But in doing so, Angel gave titty to titty hugs to Gizelle and a couple of the other ladies. So I would like to think I would have taken that as a sign that you're having a good time with us. Otherwise, you would have went to bed like Kay did. But what do I know? I wasn't there. Anyway, moving on. It's the next morning. We check in on Angel and Kay first, and they both look really cute right off the bat. But instantly, Angel's going on about how she's disappointed in Gizelle, and Kay pretty much is in agreement by saying that what Gizelle said was said to be an insult. And yes, was it said to be messy or shady or to shine light on something that would oftentimes not be brought up if we weren't in front of a camera? Yeah, I'm more than sure that that was the case. But you know what I have to disagree on? I have to disagree on this next part, which is when Gizelle comes into the room. They, of course, kind of are dry towards her. And so Kay excuses herself. She's like, hey, we were actually just talking about you, and it, wasn't so positive, just keeping it a buck. And Kay excuses herself so that Gizelle and Angel can talk. And when she does, Angel grabs a paper towel because she's crying. Hey, Kevin, she's crying. And I'm just like, but I thought she was that motherfucker. Like, what are we talking about here? Now you're crying. It seemed like bygones were bygones last night. So I'm not really understanding. And Gizelle was also confused. She didn't know it was that serious. And what I will say on a positive note in terms of Gizelle in the scene is that I do think, because she went on to apologize, and like that wasn't her intent or whatever. She was just saying, you are a beautiful woman, but that's not what we see, with our own two eyes right in front of our face. It's not the same. It's not matching up. And I do understand what Angel said. I understand that she looked at Gizelle as a big sister. Well, actually, I don't really understand that, but I digress. On one hand, and I can understand how she was embarrassed or hurt by that, but again, you're not keeping the same energy, and multiple people are calling you out on it. So it's hard for me to think that everybody's lying. Okay, it's hard for me to think that you can really sit up here and talk about how you're so grounded, you're so this, you're so that, and quite honestly, you're the one that showed your own insecurities. You're the one that revealed your own insecurities to us, because I do genuinely believe that Gizelle wasn't lying when she said she wasn't body shaming her. It was just focused on the face. Okay, we weren't talking about the anatomy below the chin. We were talking about just the face. And I do agree that she does not look the same in those photos as she does right there. And it has nothing to do with the weight that she's gained, because she talks about how she used to be a journalist, and one of her currencies was, was how she looked. And so after having two babies back to back, obviously that's going to take a toll on the body. And nobody is shaming her for that. Nobody is trying to come at her, I feel like, sideways for that, because quite honestly, nobody on that cast can sit up there and act like they don't know what it feels like to go through a pregnancy and have, your body change. I want to say I can speak for everybody up there who has children, who has, felt like, okay, I'm not looking exactly how I looked like before these kids came into the mix. I get that. But I do not believe that, like, your face is completely different, homegirl. Like, your face is completely different than what it was giving in those photos. And I'm saying this, y'all, as a person who is currently at the biggest I've ever been in my whole life, honestly, right now. This is the biggest I've ever been. And I will say that although I see the changes overall in my body, I do still feel like I look the same. I do feel like, even though I do edit my photos sometimes or whatever, and I might, do a little freaking filtering, or I might blur my background, or I might, brighten up and highlight this or that or whatever. But there's a way to do it to where you still preserve and uphold your true features, and when you're catfishing. And I'm sorry, but there's certain differences in between these two photos that we're seeing that aren't consistent. I'm sorry, they're not. And the nose, there's different things that are going on here that just don't look exactly like, what they were seeing in real life. So I do think that multiple things can be true. I think that Gizelle, that was messy, that wasn't cool, whatever. But I also think that Angel, you're sitting over here and all you got to do is say, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should, tone it down on the filters or, whatever on the edits. But with that being said, just keeping it a buck, we all, go through changes and stuff like that. But, it is what it is. I feel like she could have standed. Did I really just say standed? She could have stood in her, in that self-assurance a little bit more, and we wouldn't be having the conversation that we're having right now. I'm sorry. I y'all can disagree, but that's truly how I feel. Anyway, and Gizelle was also, like I said, she was kind of confused. So anyway, moving on, we head outside and let me actually bring up how, Angel accepts the apology. She declines a hug from Gizelle, but in her confessional, she's like, my looks don't affect anyone but me, and Bobby likes it, so that's all that matters. And she was going on about how she has a husband. I'm like, okay, see, don't do that either, because in the same breath, one, that could change in a minute. You never know. People will disappoint you. You never know. But what's also real is that now that you feel a way, it's like you're trying to get a leg up and what's it called? You're trying to get a leg up and shade these other ladies on, the areas that you feel, confident in. And I don't like when people do that, because it's giving hurt people, if you know what I mean. So I just thought that was not, I'm like, don't take that strategy, because that's not going to land well for you in the end either. But again, here we are, whatever. But again, Gizelle steps outside. She joins all the other ladies. She's telling them the day's plans. And then we have Kay pulling Angel, or was it? No, Kay and Gizelle. No, who was it? Who was it that Kay pulled to the side? Ashley, right? Yeah, it was Ashley. Okay, so Kay and Ashley, then they step to the side. Gizelle's talking to all the other ladies, and it was actually Stacey that brings up how she's found it a little bit rude that Kay decided to go to bed early or whatever, only to find out she wasn't even. Anyway, she went to bed early, and instead of celebrating Wendy. And Wendy's like, she keeps showing like subtle signs that she was never really my friend. And I'm like, that might have actually been better for you, Wendy, because I do feel like Kay would have just sucked the fun out of the entire situation if she would have stayed there. But I can understand your point too, because anyway, what else happened? And then even in this moment, Angel's like, she appreciates the apologies from Gizelle, but she'll leave it at that. And I'm like, okay, so if it's still going to be a problem, then tell her right then and there that it's still going to be a problem. Don't let all these lingering backdoor feelings just stand in the shadows and then show up in the scene and be one way, and then in the next scene be another way, and then your professional be another way, and then be over here and be another way. Like, we got it with it, okay? Like, be one way and just stay consistent and try to be a little bit more fun, because I do understand when Wendy's saying like, hey, there's like these two dark clouds kind of that have been, plaguing the group, and it just is the same two people, and I don't really feel like we should be having to coddle two people when we're all here trying to have fun. It makes sense to me. Like, I'm sorry. And it is giving Sad Sisters duo. Moving on. The ladies hop in the van. Gizelle takes them to the Alexander Hamilton house. While they're riding, their driver serenaded them. Wendy threw some shade at Ashley, because we know that Ashley likes to give her own renditions of Roberta Flack, and it's just not giving Roberta Flack at all. Thought that was funny. They arrive and go inside and get a history lesson. Then they, debate Alexander Hamilton's racial identity. Whatever. Don't really have much to say about that, quite honestly, y'all. While they're looking around, Tia checks in with Angel, who says that she's feeling good, but she's still processing. So I'm like, I guess that's what that whole I'll leave the apology at that was about. I don't know. Jassi calls out Tia because she supposedly refrained from speaking on the subject involving Angel, but she did apparently say that she was thinking it, although at least not in front of everyone, she wouldn't have brought it up. She felt like that was distasteful, that was tacky, that wasn't cool. And I want to say she even further explained that on Watch What Happens Live, because Tia did make her Clubhouse appearance this past Sunday. And Ashley calls, no. I can agree and I can understand where Tia is coming from, but I do feel like once again, multiple things can be true at the same time, y'all. I'm sorry. For whatever reason, Angel decides to tell them that them being Jassi and Tia, that she is not an OG wag. She just made an effort to get to know the younger ladies and she hopes to achieve that with them too. And I'm like, that's not going to be something that you accomplish if you still keep sticking so up under K, I feel like, because we instantly saw a shift in your whole energy once you carried your tail from with the ladies that previous night back on over to your villa with Kay. She immediately got on my couch and it was giving bitter Betties. And that's not fun to watch, y'all. It's just not. We have seen on franchises and for certain seasons, have we seen the ladies click up a little bit and it is enjoyable to watch? Yes, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Sometimes it can be enjoyable if done correctly. Right now, what Kay and Angel are doing, it's not being done correctly. So that's why I'm not enjoying watching it. But anyway, Angel claims that she wasn't being bubbly last night. She was just annoyed. And if she being Jassi, I want to say, knew her better, she would have known that. And I'm like, well, she's never going to get to know you better if you keep acting like that. But again, I just not going to beat a dead horse with that. I literally just explained that to you guys 2 breaths ago. So anyway, and that is why I called Angel a personality catfish, just like Jassi said, because it's one thing to be editing your photos, but now, like, so are you insecure about what's on the inside as well too? Like, what is it? What is going on here? And you want to know what I really think it is, y'all? I do think that Angel was somebody who's been watching the show. She's watched the show, which is also why I'm not really understanding why you didn't come in with a different tactic when under fire by Gizelle, Bryant, of all people on this show. It's like, hello, get a clue. Have you watched this show before? If you have, then you should know how to handle her. But anyway, I digress. But it's also like, okay, Angel, you clearly have wanted to maybe be on the show for quite a while now. And unfortunately, this is one of those things that you can't control when Bravo is going to ring your phone and invite you onto the show. So I do feel like it was something that comes down to like poor timing. I do feel like she just genuinely isn't, feeling her most confident. And once again, I completely understand that. But unfortunately, this is a show where they're going to bring up your looks. They're going to bring up your wig sliding back. They're going to bring up your shoes leaning. They're going to bring up, I want to say they'll bring up your breast stinking. And I say that because while some of it is fun, subtle shade, or like, easy reads, however you want to put it, some of it is nasty. I'm not saying that I condone everything, every stone that is hurled from one side to the other. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all, y'all. But it's like, we know that that's the name of the game. So it's like, you really do have to put on a thick skin when coming into this type of environment. Otherwise, as soon as certain people see those cracks, they're gonna go full force at it until you're shattered to pieces. So I feel like if it was me, if I really just had to let that out, I would go cry in the bathroom. I would cry anywhere else, but to let some people see me, being upset about something only for them, then they're going to know my vulnerabilities. They're going to know how to get to me. They're going to eventually use that against me on Mad Day. So I'm not going to give them a satisfaction. Or if I am going to give them the satisfaction and being vulnerable in these moments or whatever, or spraying my own tea or however you want to put it, y'all, I'm going to do it in confidence, knowing that I'm still in charge of telling my own story. I'm still in charge of my own emotions. And you're not ever going to shame me for something that, I'm standing truly in, if that makes sense. So I just feel like I'm really spot on with my assessment of Angel right now, but I want to know what she is going to say at the reunion. I want to know really what she has to say about how after watching the show, what does she have to say now? That's what I want to know. Anyway, what else? So back at the villa, we find out about the CGC, aka the Curly Girl Collective, versus the PPP, the Pussy Pink Palace. Gizelle bothers me when she talks like that, but anyway, Wendy brings up how Ashley hijacked the conversation when they were just getting into what really goes down in Gizelle's life once again. And before I know it, we're back on Chris Samuels and Stacey lying. And the one thing I will say about that is that, unlike Mia, who lies and her lies actually hurt other people and involve other people, we have Stacey, who, if she did lie about TJ, we're never going to get to the bottom of it. So quite frankly, I don't even care anymore at this point, because she's still bringing it on the show in so many other ways that it's whatever. Like, just don't let it happen again, pretty much is how I feel. And then we also have Stacey over here. I think I wrote down one. Again, her lies are only impacting her. Ultimately, we didn't see her bring her kids into the mix. We didn't see her out here and getting people put under investigations or whatever. So ultimately, I just wish that certain people being Ashley, would just drop it already and get their own storyline, instead of trying to, get it off the backs of other people who are really going through this season unscathed, honestly. And a lot of people have been watching like the old clips of Stacey on QVC, and I really did enjoy her on there. I enjoyed the couple clips that I did catch of her. Like I said, breath of fresh air. I do enjoy what she is bringing to this show. I really do, y'all. Anyway, what else? But also, Gizelle does let a couple things slip about her mystery man. What I took from the conversation is that she is really feeling this man. He has met at least Grace. And I feel like the reason why Gizelle stays so extra tight-lipped about what goes on in her love life is because of how things went down in the past with Sherman, someone that I do think she really saw it for. We saw how that ended with her. And I do feel like since then, she has a bit of PTSD to where she's now going to go into the situation. She's now going to go into the situation without revealing too much, as a means of protecting her own self and from it potentially having a negative impact on the relationship she's building with said person. And I can't really argue with that. And I hate that I'm saying this about, I hate that I'm giving so much kudos to Gizelle, but the other ladies are honestly making it so easy, y'all. They're honestly pedestalizing Gizelle to the point that she is the current face of the franchise right now, just like a lot of people do, just like her castmates do on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Hello, Lisa Barlow. The ladies on the show, I feel like they're really some of the ones that are some of the main ones that contribute to who all becomes the face or becomes associated, who is the one that really represents the show. And I'm like, if you guys would stop going so hard trying to be besties with this lady, there wouldn't really be much to talk about, you know? I feel like, once again, that can be said on this show, that can be said over on Salt Lake City, that can be said on quite a I would even say maybe even well, I mean, obviously she has a big following at this point in time, but even in Jersey or what have you, it's like, if you guys consistently just make big deals and surround all of what people are talking about, if you just surround it around one person on the cast, then obviously they're going to be the ones that are looked at as the face. They're going to be the ones that people think of when they think of the show or whatever. And I'm just like, if y'all would just stop pedestalizing her and, you know, sucking up to her, then maybe you would be in charge of the girls instead. But right now, Gizelle is in charge of girls. I'm sorry. I didn't make it that way. Like I just said, y'all are doing it. And y'all know who I'm talking about when I say y'all in the cast. Anyway, Angel randomly says how Bobby sent her $5,000, which on one hand, I'm like, cute, cool, whatever, would love to see it. But on the other hand, I'm like, wait, you didn't already have that when you left? Like, you don't have access to money? You don't, like, huh? Like, so what if he did? And again, some of y'all probably will say, I'm just looking at I'm picking any issue that I can pick with Angel. And that's not the case at all, y'all. I just was kind of like, okay. It just seemed it just seems so random now. And I feel like it's because we don't know how to digest her or Kay for that matter. But she does say that. And Gizelle, she is like, girl, can you start talking about yourself? Because we want to know about you. Like, you keep leading with Bobby and we want to know about you. And I'm like, I agree. Just like last season, I said the same thing about Kay and Greg. I was like, Kay, can you stop bringing up that man? Because one, I just genuinely don't care. And two, it's like, we want to get a chance to get to know you. And it's like, once again, that's actually revealing in itself too, because Angel, I feel like a lot of her stock is in association. I cannot speak today, y'all. Is in association to her husband. I think that a lot of her, for lack of better words, her claim to fame right now is through him. So I'm like, if you would just be confident in who you are, and if you would, sorry y'all, my husband, speaking of husbands, my husband just sent me a text talking about listeria outbreak linked to pasta in Hawaii. Oh God, I guess I won't be eating no pasta this week. Anyway, hey Yvette, oh, it's so good to see you. I be seeing you in other people's chats. I'm so glad you came over here to my chat, because I've definitely missed kikiing with you in the chat. So I'm so glad you joined us. Yes. And if you guys, again, have not liked the video, actually, I'm gonna play a little like the video, because some of y'all be slipping. Like, y'all be watching, but you don't always watch like the video. So I'm gonna hit my like the video real quick, and then we'll come back and finish out this episode. Okay, have you liked the video? Please, I hope you have. Thank you. Going back though to this point in the episode, it's like in the same breath though, Gizelle says she doesn't want to hear about Angel's husband, but then she asked the question about Tia's husband. She asked how they've met, so I'm just like, okay. Anyway, But they met in London, I guess, back at some point or other. I don't remember. Do y'all remember when she says that they got married? I don't think I remember, but they've been married for, I mean, their oldest is what, 17, something like that. So they've been married for a minute. But they met in London. She's trying on a leather jacket. He said, "Ooh, you look good," etc., etc. The rest is history. And it was actually Wendy that asks her if it was like an issue with her not marrying another fellow Nigerian, and she's like, yes, absolutely. And she also said it still is kind of like a big deal, or it's still a topic of discussion or whatever. So I found that interesting because I'm like, okay, are we going to hear more about that? Is that going to come back around? Are we going to meet your family and that's going to become like a part of the storyline or something like that? I was kind of curious about that. I did see some people online also saying that that was kind of insensitive or kind of like off color a little bit coming from Wendy to ask that in that moment, because it was more of like a positive moment, and then you bring that type of question up that brings kind of like a negative energy over the conversation or something like that. I could see why they would say that, I guess, but I don't think, I like to think that, especially knowing how badly things surrounded that cultural conversation for Wendy in the past, I would think that she was being genuine in this moment and just really trying to connect and just have a conversation about it. And I do think that that's okay if that's the case. I don't think that she was trying to be malicious, but again, I guess understand why people would say that. But anyway, they all head out. They're going shopping. They arrive at the shops, and this is when we first hear that Wendy is starting to not feel well. And she says that there was a bug going around in her house before she departed. And my main thing with that is, if you knew that there's a bug going around, I think that is so selfish for a person to get around people knowing that they potentially could be sick or whatever, and knowing that they can potentially spread that sickness or whatever, and you still show up. I get it. You're, filming a TV show. I get it. You want to, of course, be, on the trip and stuff like that. I get it. But it's like, if that was the case, we seen last week on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, we seen Angie laid up in that bed, down for the count. And I'm like, if that was the case, you should have just really, I don't know. You should have been wearing a mask, something. I don't know. But I just thought that was a little just selfish. Anyway, what else happened? So, you know what also didn't age well, y'all? When, oh God, you probably already know what I'm about to say. When Wendy asked Jassi to, I guess she was gonna step out for some fresh air, she asked her if she can cover down on her items or whatever that she picked out. Like, this is not gonna age well. It's not gonna age well because it's like, Wendy, you could have just gave that lady your card before you walked out. You could have just cash apped her real quick, or Apple paid her, or, at a minimum been like, set the intention of paying her back, which was by saying, hey, just let me know, like send me, make sure you get a receipt or whatever. Let me know the price, whatever, because now it's going to be like weird. It's like, oh my God, that did not age well. Goodness. Angel texts Bobby the word sex for whatever reason. And then of course he's like, oh, what a million of the baby then when you come back from the trip. She with it, so good for them. But who's, I'm not gonna say who's not with it, because I do think that it was done to be humorous. Stacey decides for whatever reason to text Timo the same thing, and he was like, you want sex? And she's like, yeah, send selfie with me. And he's like, think you have the wrong number. I do think that it was just his type of humor. I mean, I do have dry, dark humor sometimes, so trust me, I get it. It's actually being in the Marines, like, we make some jokes, trust me. But it is kind of odd, Stacey, because girl, it's been such a hot topic of whether or not you lied about being with TJ, your husband. Like, your love life has been a hot topic since you got on the show. So I do feel like she could have avoided any type of background conversations if she didn't say that, but whatever. That said, yes, it didn't age well. People are now saying she couldn't afford it on her Amex was frozen. Amex don't play. Trust me, I know Amex does not play. So I mean, we didn't see how much the items cost altogether, but it was like, girl, you could have just. I'm like, I don't like that. I really genuinely don't like that for her. But it's like, we can't make this up. Anyway, Stacey wasn't bothered though. We have none other than Ashley Darby running outside to tell Gizelle what just happened. I'm not really surprised there, so I'm not even going to shine any light on it. It's just regular Ashley BS. Anyway, side note, I always known that Stacey was tall, but in this scene, for whatever reason, she was really like towering over the ladies, and that's not me saying that in a shady way at all or whatever. I wish I was taller. I wish I was either taller or shorter, because I feel like I'm like average, right in the middle. I'm 5'4" and like a half-ish, like right under a half. But I want to say that Stacey, yeah, she's talked about how she's tall in the past or whatever. But for some odd reason, she just looked really tall in this scene. All the ladies look really nice. I really liked Kay's outfit, Poochie from head to toe. If you know, you know. Gizelle also had on some Poochie, but like, we're not even gonna. Anyway, but all the ladies did look really nice for the most part. So in one breath, Wendy's like super not feeling well, couldn't pay for her items at the moment, but then when they all go and play some music on these steel drums with some of the locals, she has enough energy to muster up to do that. I'm like, oh god, I already knew before I even logged on to X, to Threads, to whatever, I already knew that the people were gonna have something to say about that, and I just unfortunately could not defend you, Wendy, because I hope you sent that lady her money back at least. Moving on, last scene, y'all. Back at the resort, Gizelle and Stacey check on Wendy. She's laid up in the bed. All the other ladies go to dinner, and they, indulge in the ultimate Nevis experience. I think his name was Mr. Sunshine. Shout out to Mr. Sunshine. And right off the bat, Angel's like, well, I want to know if I'm going to be on the menu tonight. And I'm just like, girl, what? Like, no one's even. And that's what I mean about just not reading the room. At this point in time, it's like, girl, we are not even. I'm sorry, y'all. My eyelash is like bothering me. At this point in time, it's like nobody's even said anything to you. Just sit back, eat your food, and be ready. Like, that just annoyed me so bad. I'm like, girl, huh? And Gizelle relays how Kay, by Kay not being present for Wendy's birthday celebration, Wendy was rather offended. And Kay says, well, I was tired, and she was like hurt for her friend, even though your friend was allegedly not that hurt, because she was able to say, but only for the next day to come around for her to say that she was hurt. So I don't fucking know. But I guess she seemingly didn't realize that her absence would have made any type of impact. So I'm like, either y'all are going to get along and get over it, or you're not. And by y'all, I really mean Kay, because at first I wasn't really understanding the issue. But at this point in time, I understand why Wendy earlier on in the episodes was like, Kay is the one with the issues, because at this point, you are the one with the issues, Kay. Anyway, if you can't even table it on vacation, then you're not really the girl for me, because we gonna have fun by any means necessary in this type of environment, but whatever. And then we end the episode with Kay and Jassi going back at it again. And on one hand, Jassi expresses regret for saying the things that she said to Kay, but it's like, you know, Kay, you also said some things, like, we're not going to glaze over that. I'm sticking to my guns when I say or sticking my pew, I should have said, whatever. Anyway, I'm really feeling like, Jassi, you should not bring things up if you were not going to tell the full honest truth. Because when you said that, what did Jassi say? She said that on a scale of 1 to 5, Wendy would be like an 8.5, upset about what was said. She said that she didn't want to say what was said fully because of the timing of it all, but it's like it wasn't a big bomb that was dropped. Like, you're saying that she said, oh yeah, Kay said don't trust Wendy or whatever, and it's just like that wasn't as salacious as I thought it was going to be, so it better be some more to that. Kay still can't remember what she did or didn't say, so I'm just like, unless we are going to get to the bottom of this, I don't really want to hear much more about it, because I'm already sick of hearing about Kay having beef with anybody. So unless it's going to be something worth clamping onto, don't bring it up. That's how I feel. Y'all. Look over my notes one more time before we roll up on out of here. I want to say that's all I had to say. That's all I had to say about the episode. Yep, that's all I had to say, y'all. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hype the video, turn on notification bell, do all the things. Shout outs to Yvette and Kevin that were in the chat. I would love to continue this conversation in the comment section below, like I said. Let me know what you guys think of my commentary. Let me know what you guys think of the episode. Also follow me on my social media accounts that I've been scrolling along the bottom of the screen, and I will see you guys in the next one, because that is all I have to say for now. Yep. Bye, y'all.